Otakon 2023, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Otakon was an anime convention held from July 28th through 30th, 2023 at the Walter E. Washington Convention Center in Washington, D.C. Otakon is coming off a year of complicated line problems, but huge growth. Let's see how they did. For the good, the attached Marriott was great this year. Getting a room in it was a little bit more of a challenge than expected, but check-in was easy, check-out was easy, and the luggage storage was excellent. Mailed badges worked perfectly this year, and the prices for them were also excellent. Otakon fixed virtually all of its line issues from last year by having multiple entrances this year. They went from having 2 to 4 entrances. They changed where you picked up badges. You had to go in between 2 parts of the convention center. That seemed to work well. The main entrance outside the convention center was now split up between prop check and quick entry, and the Marriott entry remained about the same. It worked really, really well. The video game room layout changes worked well for the most part. They basically opened up the back of the video game hall into what formerly was the dance. They had more food options and more seating areas, which I thought worked out really, really well. One of the big changes they made was having retro arcade machines in the game room. I liked it. I'd love to see even more of it. It's something I really like about MagFest, and yes, Otakon is an anime convention, but if they could get even more retro arcade machines, I think it would add to the diversity of the game room. Maybe even look at seeing about bringing in some pinball machines. I think the retro arcade machines was a good addition this year. I love the variety of panels Otakon had this year. They went far and wide. One of the best panels I saw this weekend was Anime in Latin America, one of the best voice actor QAs I've seen in a long time. It was very unique. A lot of new ideas and content was shared. Absolutely loved it. I also love the weird panels you see at Otakon, like the person that talks about watches every year. Love that. Love the panel selection they had this year. I liked the idle space / idle stage they had. I thought it was really well done. You saw some people do excellent performances and work really, really hard to entertain, and it looked to come off very, very well. And finally, Discotheque again dominated the industry presence. Discotheque had a great panel, licensed some great anime, love attending every year. It is essentially Otakon's flagship panel they have every year. For the bad, the weather was just a mess. I wish Ice Cold Water Guy was still here like it was in Baltimore. We needed Ice Cold Water Guy to get the temperature down a little bit. It actually restricted my group's adventures outside the convention center. It was just boiling, and that weather that came through on Saturday was actually a little scary. Driving out after the convention ended, there was so much damage to the trees in the area from that cell that came through on Saturday. We're lucky nobody got hurt, and also we're lucky that more people didn't have heat-related problems. The weather was just a mess. For the ugly, what should have been better? Otakon, please never ever open the hotel block again the day after the convention. Thankfully this year you didn't do it yet, but for the 2023 hotel block, that was a mess. The new photo shoot location simply did not work. What they did was they moved video gaming back, and they essentially put all the photo shoots in front of video gaming. That would have been okay, but the backdrops that you can see in the image here were not tall enough. They weren't anything. And I don't quite understand how people didn't visualize that this wasn't going to work. It looked really bad. There's too much going on in the backgrounds. And I'm going to discuss a little bit more with the scheduling where things went wrong. Now, the scheduling itself was a problem. The top photo here was actually after video games opened on Saturday. The photo shoot started at 10 a.m. when video games opened. Video games did not open on time, therefore the photo shoots did not start on time. The lower picture here is the crowding that also occurred in the photo shoot area. Again, the whole photo shoot concept did not work at all this year. It will have to be rethought out. About the only good thing that did come out of the photo shoot area this year was the lighting was better. Let's talk about the concert staff here, and this is going to be specific to the Visual K concerts on Friday and then Saturday. A friend I room with is an expert concert goer. The singer had to get the people up out of their seats for the Friday concert. The crowd didn't quite understand it because the staff had told them to sit. Now, thankfully, this was fixed by Saturday because the singer got people out of their seats by the second song. The concert staff will need to better analyze what type of bands they have when they're doing the concerts. The merch booth checkout was messy. So first thing, Otakon has excellent merch every year. I want to start there. They need at least 4 registers, though, checking people out at all times. They only had 2. It didn't work. It caused especially long lines on Friday. Saturday and Sunday it was a little better, but not much. They will need to reimagine the merch booth checkout. I usually consider myself well-versed on things that can occur at the convention. The next 2 items are things that maybe were in an FAQ somewhere, but I believe Otakon needed to cover a lot better to stress it on social media. One being, the convention center was cashless. There's a lot of people that still only use cash in this world. Maybe they have a debit card, but they don't want anything to do with a credit card. There are people scared of credit cards. I would like to see Otakon do a much better job stressing to attendees that the convention center is cashless. There should be social media posts. It, to me, was kind of a miss. And this could have already been done last year, but I never noticed the convention center was cashless. I use credit cards. The no outside food and drink was also a major problem because it was not being uniformly enforced. I walked in several times with water bottles and no one challenged me. Other people got challenged. Especially with the heat that was going on, having no outside food and drink needed to be better stressed by Otakon. This was a miss. The dance to me was a major fumble because there was not enough space allocated to it. Yes, they basically put it on its own floor in the Marriott, but I don't like how they subdivided it up. There needed to be much more room. To me, when I walked in there, I felt the ventilation was probably not as good as it needed to be. And I left almost immediately. I said I wanted no part of this. I hope they will take a look at reconfiguring the dance for next year. They needed much more space. This might be one of the oddest complaints was the attached Marriott's internet really did not function well all weekend. Yes, I had the Bonvoy account, so I didn't have to pay for it. But literally, we couldn't stream on the TV in the room at all. And the internet was just really, really buggy. And you think they would have expected that, but it just didn't work right. Overall, I thought the convention showed a vast amount of improvement this year, but some changes, like the photo shoot locations and the dance, simply didn't work and will need to be changed for next year. I would like to see improved communication from Otakon on things like the convention center being cashless. That would very much help the average attendee. I'm giving the convention a B+. I think Otakon had a good year, but there was definitely room for improvement. Thanks for watching.